The two dancers we present this evening, Tirupati Venkateshwara by Dakshina Vaidyanathan Bagel, a disciple of Guru Saroja Vaidyanathan and Guru Rama Vaidyanathan, and Pandharpur Vithala by Arundhati Patwardhan from Pune, a disciple of Suchita Bhide Chapekar. The first segment is on Lord Venkateshwara. Tirumala, or Upper Tirupati as it's known, is a small town and a well-established center for Vaishnavism. Around the 5th century AD, it was praised by the Alvars or the saints of Vaishnavism. The temple rites were formalized by the Vaishnavite saint Ramanujacharya in the 11th century AD. Tirupati has survived the Muslim and British invasions, and during the early 1300s, the Muslim invasion of South India, the deity of Sri Ranganatha Swami temple was brought from Srirangam to Tirupati for safekeeping. This temple town for most of medieval era was a part of the Vijayanagar Empire till the 17th century, and its rulers contributed considerably to the resources and the wealth. Some of the notable rulers were Krishna Devaraya, Achyuta Devaraya, Sadashivaraya, and Tirumala Devaraya. Why is Tirupati Venkateshwara, or Balaji as he is also known, the richest god in the world? Why do millions donate their head to him? And why is the Tirupati Laddu the tastiest prasadam in the world? We today look at two composers. For Tirupati Venkateshwara, the composer is Annamacharya, and for Pandharpur Vithala, the composer is Tukaram. So parallelly, we have two great saint poets who have composed on these two deities. This evening is based on Annamacharya's compositions, and Tirupati Kshetram discusses the rituals, stories, and secrets of the holy Venkateshwara temple, both inside and outside the sanctum sanctorum. The production explores through the compositions of Annamacharya, who is the official songwriter for Tirupati temple, with over 32,000 compositions to his credit inscribed on copper plates, out of which I think 12,000 are available today. His unique style of writing in praise of the deity endeared him to the people, and he was called Sankirtanacharya, widely regarded also as Andhra Pada Kavita Pitamaha, the godfather of Telugu song writing. Annamacharya's poems fall under three categories: Bhakti, Vedantic, and Vairagya. The Bhakti poems are of two major kinds: those that are in praise of the Lord of the seven hills, such as Venkatachala Nilayam, Vaikunta Puravasam, everything that describes Lord Venkateshwara with the sthala or the hills. And the second part, where there are devotional outpourings like Deva Devam Bhaje Divya Prabhavam, etc., where the poet sings in praise of the Lord, but nevertheless treats him as the same Lord of the seven hills. This reflects the principle of looking at one divine in many of his manifestations. Another element which is very unique in Annamacharya's kritis is they reflect Shringara, or songs of love, in which Annamacharya expresses the urge of the individual self to erode the line that remains a hurdle to be with the universal self, which lies as an underlying unity of all its diverse manifestations on this earth, through the medium of love or in communion with the divine. He refers to the Lord in a very casual way, in a very jestful way sometimes, as Vaddi Kasula Vade, the one who takes compound interest. He is celebrated every day through the Kalyanotsava, where his wedding is performed almost on a daily basis. And the practice of the Kalyana Utsavam started sometime in 1500s, maybe 1536 or something. And when Talapakam Tirumala Iyengar said that the idea of celebrating the marriage festival of the Lord and this ceremony should be conducted for over 5 days a week in the Mandapam. The first segment of this evening's presentation is titled The Lord of the Seven Hills. Sees a group of devotees on a Tirth Yatra. There it is. Here it is, the Lord's abode on top of the 7 hills, which symbolizes the 7 heads of the serpent Adisesha, who shades the Lord's head when he sleeps. Look at this beautiful temple with its golden pillars, long passageways, its towering flagpost, and majestic gopurams. Did you know it was all built by a king, Tondaman Chakravarti, in whose dream Lord Venkateshwara appeared and asked him to build this temple for himself? Here is the abode of Sri Hari, with the spectacle of the 10,000 hooded Sesha, the topmost being Venkatachalam, the most favorite of Brahma and the other lords, the eternal abode of the sages. There is Seshachalam nearby, the abode of the gods in the sky. In front, you see the treasure of the golden towers of Brahman, the supreme consciousness. That is the place for salvation. That is the hill of Venkatesha. That is the embodiment of wealth. That is the holiest of the holy. On entering, one must first bathe in the Pushkarini, and then the customary visit to the shrine of the Adi Varaha Swami, paying respects to Lord Balaji himself. As per legend, Lord Venkateshwara was once hit on his head by a shepherd. A small portion of his scalp becomes bald. This was noticed by a Gandharva princess called Neela Devi, and she says such an attractive face should never have a flaw. She immediately cuts a portion of her hair and with her magical power implants it on his scalp. Venkateshwara notices her sacrifice and says that because the hair is such a beautiful asset of the female form, he promises her that all his devotees would come to this abode and would offer their hair to her. And that's what all the devotees do even today. Why is more than 22.5 million rupees collected daily in the hundi? Did we ever think about that? Lord Venkateshwara's marriage to Aluvel Manga was a really expensive affair. He had to borrow money from the Lord of Wealth, and at that time he borrowed a loan of 1 crore and 11.4 million coins of gold. It is our duty to help the Lord return his debt with interest to Kubera. And so thousands of devotees generously donate into the hundi every day to support the Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to welcome you to Tirupati Venkateshwara, presented by Dakshina Vaidyanathan Baghel. In the first part, the Lord of the Seven Hills.
दिवो अल्ल दिवो श्री हरिवास मो
अदिवो श्री हरिवास
पदिवेल शेषुल पदगलमयमो दिवो अल्ल दिवो श्री पदिवेल शेषुल पदगलमयमो दिवो अल्ल दिवो श्री हरिवास
Vithala, a theatrical presentation of Sant Tukaram's compositions, depicting a mesmerizing journey of a devotee who travels from self-surrender to self-realization. The devotee experiences tremendous emotional and mental upheavals and in his urge to meet his Vittu. As he pleads, the bhakta's uncontrollable yearning at some point leads him to frustration and even aggression. The bhakta longs to see his Lord in his physical being. He longs for the union. Finally, the travel reaches its peak after his heart completely surrenders at the lotus feet of Vithala, the all-pervading power. The devotee realizes the existence of his Vithala not in the idol, but everywhere around him and also within him. He no longer craves for the Lord to be physically visible. A true bhakta understands the relationship of the soul and the divine. The gestures and expressions through dance and music take one beyond the word meaning and to the core of the feeling and the free-flowing bhakti rasa of the Abhangas. Form is there as a medium of presentation. The form today is Bharatanatyam in both the presentations, but the flavor is that of Madhura Bhakti in Annamacharya and Bhakti in Tukaram. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Vithala by Arundhati Patwardhan from Pune.